Yes, people, welcome back to Talking Wolves. We're here for a brand new transfer update. Lots of news and stories going on over the last week or so as we approach Christmas and, of course, approach the start of the January transfer window. It's going to be heating up a little bit. I'm sure there's going to be players to join Wolves. There will also be players leaving the club. And I'll give you some updates on what's been happening over the last week or so. As always, do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below as well. We'll start off with the article that dropped today on the Telegraph by the ever-reliable John Percy, which gave some good updates and a pretty good insight into what we can expect in the January transfer window. It was said that Gary O'Neill is looking to recruit a striker and a winger next month. Of course, there may be other players and positions that Wolves do target. They are obviously also looking to offload a number of fringe players to raise additional funds. Now, those three players are Johnny Otto, Fabio Silva, and potentially even Sasa Kalajdzic. Now, going through all three, Johnny is an obvious one. Been out of favour for a long time now. Of course, he said in the summer that he wanted to fight for his place, which is fair enough. People gave him credit for that. But how he's reacted since, and pretty much in the last week or two, as we know and as we've seen in the news, isn't acceptable, and Wolves will look to loan him on, move him on. Now, with it being the January transfer window, sometimes it is very hard to get those permanent deals because teams don't really have the cash flow or the money sat there ready. So more than likely we will see Johnny leave on loan with either an option or obligation to buy. No real links with him yet. There was a very subtle link to his old club Celta Vigo, but I think that was more the press trying to tout him around a little bit. But you would expect Johnny Otto is going to be one of those players that moves on in the January transfer window. Fabio Silva, there's been a lot of speculation about him over the last few weeks or so. The issue, I mean, I've had my, say my piece pretty much every week on the podcast and sometimes on reactions on Fabio Silva. I do feel like he should have had a little bit more time on the pitch this season. Of course, I don't know what happens Monday to Friday or Sunday to Friday or whatever on a training pitch. Gary O'Neill ultimately has a better eye for things and understands what's going on more than I do. But I just felt, especially in the last week or so of games, I do feel that Fabio possibly should have come onto the pitch. But I mean, you look at things, he's not appeared in a Wolves shirt since that Sheffield United game where he got penalised for giving away a penalty, and ultimately it cost us a point at Bramall Lane. Obviously, he was unfortunate in that, but you could see he was very upset about that situation because he's worked hard. Lopetegui had to work quite hard to convince him to stay at the club, and Lopetegui ended up walking. And the situation with Fabio could have been very different if Julian Lopetegui was still here. But he's likely to move on again. I think that's going to be another one with a loan and potentially an option to buy. Now, a number of teams interested, a few in Germany that have been reported by Liam Keane, at the Express Star, is Freiburg, Eintracht Frankfurt, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Wolfsburg and Union Berlin are also to have an interest. Also, on Saturday, some sources in Italy stating that Serie A clubs Monza and Genoa are also interested in him. So a lot of top-level clubs in a top 5 league in Europe are interested in Fabio Silva. And we saw he made an impact at Anderlecht. He made an impact at PSV last year. I think he is a player capable, but obviously for whatever reason, it's just not clicked for him in a Wolves shirt. Sasa Kalajdzic is another one as well. This isn't surprising for me, just purely due to the fact I think Sasha is a very unique player, obviously with his height and so on, but it just doesn't work for how Wolves want to play, I don't think. And ultimately, he was bought before Matt Hobbs was sort of in charge of transfers. He was bought way before Gary O'Neill took charge of the club. So he is a player that was brought in through different and previous regimes. So ultimately, Gary O'Neill needs to think what's best for the team and how he's going to get results. And for me, of course, look, I need to give credit to Sasha because he's come on the pitch and got us 2 winning goals this season, 2 late goals. But other than that, I think he's left a lot to be desired. I don't think his overall game suits Wolverhampton Wanderers and the current system that we want to play. And I think if you he plays for a team, that's on top of things and has a lot of the ball and plays high up the pitch, great, because I think you'll get the ball into him and it will work a lot more. But with Wolves playing a counter-attacking style and sitting quite deep, Kalajdzic just does not suit that whatsoever. And like I said, for me, even when he started a couple of games this season, he has been underwhelming. But I do have to give credit to him. I also do have to say, I think he should have come on, especially the weekend just gone against West Ham United. I can't believe he didn't come on during that game. But Gary O'Neill obviously hasn't got faith in him. But I think there will be suitors for Sasa Kalajdzic because, like I said, he's a very unique player. There are a lot of inquiries for him in the summer. And he may well be moved on in January if the finances, again, are right for Wolves. Now, a striker that has been linked or was linked previously and is still a potential option is the Victoria Plaza striker, Rafiu Durasinmi. Now, around a £7 million target. John Percy reported about this before. Now, there have been reports in Germany since that first article that Eintracht Frankfurt are trying to pursue him. Obviously, Frankfurt interested in Fabio Silva as well. That may be their other target. But it sounded like it was pretty advanced with Frankfurt, but it sounds like it's still on for Wolves, and he is going to potentially be a target at the moment. But I don't know. I think these three players potentially will move on. It will give Wolves a little bit more flexibility in terms of transfer budget and wage budget because all three are going to be on a decent whack at the club. And ultimately, you want players to be happy. You want a happy environment. Sasha obviously wasn't too happy about certain things earlier on in the season. Jonny obviously isn't because he's caused such a commotion. And Fabio was obviously upset with what's going on. So with the position that Wolves are in at the moment, you need to try and keep a positive atmosphere, positive dressing room. And ultimately, these three players who aren't getting minutes and are good enough to be getting minutes elsewhere do need to be moved on, really. Other news and transfers. There was a report over the last week or so from Brazil that Wolves have reportedly inquired about Flamengo right back Wesley França. A number of Premier League clubs are looking at him as well, including Brighton and Crystal Palace. He's told Flamengo that he does want to play in Europe, so he could well be an option for Wolves, possibly a long-term replacement for Nelson Semedo. He's only 20 years of age. Of course, same club that Wolves signed João Gomez from. Another striker that was linked over the weekend, Yanis Senhadji. He's a youth player. Real Betis, he's represented Spain at youth level as well. 18 years old, striker, but it's said that Real Madrid are also interested in him. It sounds like he does want to extend his time at Real Betis and sign a pro deal there, or a current contract extension there. So it may well be agent talk linking Wolves and Real Madrid with the young forward. A player that is going to be leaving Wolves, it's official, is the under-21s goalkeeper, Parmi Aron Bjornsson. He's been at the club a few years now, but he's going to be leaving the club on a permanent deal. He's going to be joining Icelandic club Víkingur. So obviously all the best to him for that move as well. And another couple of youngsters linked with the Wolves as well. One is Barnsley midfielder, 17-year-old Vimal Yoganathan, 17 years of age. Like I said, a lot of Premier League teams interested in him as well. Bournemouth, Brentford, Southampton, all said to be interested. Barnsley at the moment do have a professional contract on the table for him, but it remains to be seen whether he will sign that and stay at the club, or will he move to a Premier League team. And the final one, there was a Trialist playing for the Wolves under-21s last week. I found out it was in fact a striker currently playing for Eastbourne Borough at non-league, first team level at non-league, scoring a few goals this season. Fletcher Holman. He's just 19 years of age. Remains to be seen whether Wolves obviously do go and sign him, more than likely, obviously, in the January transfer window. But yeah, Fletcher Holman was the player that was up top for the 21s last week. But that is all, I believe, for today. I think it's going to be a busy transfer window. Lots of rumours coming up, so obviously be sure to hit that subscribe button so you keep up to date with all the transfer news. And we hit into that busy festive period coming up soon. So we'll be back this week with the podcast and the Chelsea preview ahead of this Christmas Eve fixture at Molineux. But do enjoy your final week before Christmas, guys. Be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And if this is the last video you catch before Christmas, have a great Christmas and a very happy New Year. And I'll see you all very, very soon.